Hello, and welcome to the Lore of Braunhaven. Today we're going to be talking about the Clan of the Owlbear, and we're going to be continuing our exploration of the Skelos Mountains. So the Clan of the Owlbear is a reclusive, isolated, very small tribe of Neanderthals that have been living in the Skelos Mountains for some time. They are fearful, maybe fearful is a little bit too big of a word. They are a bit shy of humans and the gargantua of Stagina. That's not to say that um, they avoid all contact, but they are hesitant. They range around the area of the Eastern Tradeway and as far south as the Northern Loop. But they tend to avoid going to the Abbey of the Order of the Martyr or the town, or rather village of Stagham. They and their tribal elder, their chief, cautions the tribe to not trust the humans too freely. Um, but they do have fairly good relations with gnomes that live in the area. They have good relations with the village of Gnome Home and the dwarves of Zlatoheim. They actually have ranged much further north than they have south. And they seem to be at home in the colder climes. They they got their name because they share a cave with a pair or with a mother owlbear and her two cubs. And the cave, it was originally a lair of the owlbear, and they have always had a relationship with the owlbear. Um, and this, of course, isn't the first owlbear. The relationship continues through the generations. The owlbears are not pets. The Neanderthal treat them as full members of the tribe. They are of equal standing. And it is said that the shaman of the tribe actually communes with the owlbears, that she is able to gain some knowledge from the owlbears that she then passes on to the chief. The Now, just because they're Neanderthals doesn't mean that they are stupid in any way. They are an ancient people. They are believed that, well, scholars believe that the Neanderthal are perhaps the texts, the religious texts that say that Tula was the goddess that created, the mother goddess that created humans and halflings. Uh, Perhaps that isn't the whole story. Maybe humans and halflings didn't just suddenly spring up into the world as the religious texts claim. Perhaps it is more a case of she had to experiment first, and the Neanderthals were some of the first human uh, type creatures to inhabit the world, and that the clan of the Albar really is a holdover. There are very, very few Neanderthals left, at least in the Braunhaven region. And for the most part, at least this side of the Skelos Mountains, this is the only known tribe that anybody has ever run into. Now, as I stated, they do have good relations with Numveholm and Zlatoheim. The tribe also has fairly good relations with guides that work in the region. And there is an agreement that with several of the guides that they don't allow their travelers that they're taking through the mountains to get too close to the clan's cave, or really if they encounter a hunting party of Neanderthals, they don't allow them to get too close to them. Now, this agreement works both ways. The tribe agrees that if the guides can do this, and keep the travelers at bay, they will agree to allow the guide to work as an intermediary and offer trade. The Neanderthals don't have a lot to trade. They mostly deal in furs and perhaps you know, crude jewelry, necklaces, bracelets made of polished stones, semi-precious stones, and they don't like their hunters don't seem to have, at least the hunters that they've run into, they don't seem to have an affinity for wearing much more than uh, leather. Leather armor is probably the epitome of their, or the biggest armor that they would wear. No studded leather, but mostly they wear furs, and they don't have any interest in trading in an armor of any kind. But they have shown an interest in trading in bronze and iron weapons. They are especially, believe it or not, especially bronze weapons. They haven't discovered the usefulness or the longevity of iron yet, and they are not even aware of steel. But bronze weapons, because of its sheen, they are, and they can actively see the bronze in the walls of their cave. They are very interested in bronze weapons, and so they will trade baubles and furs for these weapons if they get the chance. Um, Trade is very limited. They do trade with the dwarves of Zlatoheim and the gnomes, but um, occasionally they'll trade, and it's more of an exchange of gifts really than any actual honest trade. You're not gonna, as a trader, you're not going to make any real money off of an interaction with the clan of the Owlbear. You'll get some novelty items that you might pass down, and their curiosities, and really nothing more. That's not to say that the clan of the Owlbear doesn't have uh, abilities or powers. Uh, it is believed. Well, they have their own pantheon of gods, but it is believed by religious scholars, clerics, and of the region, that the gods of the Neanderthals are really just different aspects of the old gods, and so uh, there's a lot of evidence for those few people who have made it inside the cave. There are cave paintings, and in studying these cave paintings, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the pantheon of gods that the clan worships are really just different names and different depictions of the old gods. There are the tribe has very I wouldn't say strict, but they follow along distinct gender roles. The men are expected to go out and hunt and do manual labor, and generally provide for defense and protection of the clan. The women's responsibility is in child rearing and doing the gathering for herbs, berries, naturally growing plants, herbs, things of that nature. There doesn't seem to be any distinction between the genders as far as who can be shaman, and the clan over the centuries has had many shaman, of course. The current shaman is named Chakra, and or I'm sorry, Chakra. And Chakra, um, the thing to notice about the one thing that is different, it doesn't matter if they're male or female, but the one thing that's different about the tribal chieftain and the tribal shaman is that, and this is visible, they appear to be a slightly different race than the rest of the Neanderthals. It's obvious that there is some genetic linkage there, that they are related, perhaps very closely, but the shamans and the tribal leaders, especially the chieftain, are always of this distinctly different race, and this this different race tends to be slightly larger than the rest of them. For instance, Chakra is almost 9 feet tall, and it has led many scholars to believe that that the Neanderthals could possibly not only show that they are the proto-humans and perhaps even halflings of the Braunhaven region, but it could be that link between humans and gargantua, because the gargantua of Stagina are said to be cousins of humans, and this could be the missing link. But Chakra, she, like I said, she stands 9 feet tall. She is gaunt, almost to the point of looking ill or underfed. She, as is the case with most Neanderthal shamans, she is covered head to toe in tribal tattoos, and each tattoo means something. It is usually some kind of interaction between her and the Neanderthal gods, or it is believed that these tattoos convey the power of the gods or of nature as a whole to her. Um, the shamans of the tribe, and Chakra in particular, and this is another case study of uh, showing the linkage between the Neanderthal pantheon and the old gods. The tribal shamans actually practice a form of druidic magic. It is uh, more closely tied to the very old druidic magic. Usually in the modern day, this kind of magic is, if you see it at all, it's going to be during special. I was going to say special events, but it's not a wrestling match. It's special druidic holidays or ceremonies that happen deep, deep in the wilderness. You know, it's very, very old types of druidic magic, and there's a lot, there's a lot of special herbs that are used, that are smoked, that are drank, a lot of hallucinogens, and the Chakra believes, and perhaps rightly so, that these hallucinogens and visions that she gains from these drugs or give her insight, perhaps a type of clairvoyance or ESP or whatever you want to call it, spiritual enlightenment into the goings on of the world. And it has served the tribe very well. So there must be something to it. Either that or she's just a really smart old woman that likes to get high now and then. Um, but the other part of her job, aside from uh, microdosing, and then telling the tribal chieftain everything that she learned, is to commune with the owlbears. And like I said, there is the mother owlbear and her two cubs. And Chakra will spend time alone. So the way the cave is built out, there's a large central chamber, and in the back is inside is a cave inside the cave that is the actual lair of the owlbear. The owlbears are free to come and go as they want. As I said, they are full members of the tribe, and it is believed that Chakra, she can go into the actual lair and spend nights in the lair. And it is said that she communes with the owlbear. The owlbear is able to communicate with her things that it has seen or done, or um, it was told. I mean, there's a lot of spiritual interaction going on. The other member of this slightly different race is Gurtok, the tribal chieftain. Gurtok is 10 feet tall and very powerfully built. He is an imposing man, and we're not talking just about his brow, which is prominent. He he basically runs the entire tribe, but it is not. He's not a. I mean, he is a dictator, but at the same time, he is much loved by the tribe, and he takes counsel from every member of the tribe. The tribe's not very big. At most, currently, it is sitting at about 24 members. However, and that's not including children, babies and children. The However, there has been in the past year or so a boon in births, so the tribe may see some growth if God's willing that they don't lose several members to whatever. They Gurtok has wisely led the tribe. in part thanks to the counsel of Chakra, the shaman. And he has kept his distance from the humans. He has forged, I wouldn't say an alliance, but he has forged friendly relations with the gnomes and the dwarves, and he was instrumental in doing that. And he has taken it to the point where he has actually learned Handeln, Domshek, and Domgir, which are Handeln being common, Domshek being dwarven, and Domgir being the language of the gnomes. In not like fluent, but he's learned enough that he can communicate, and he has used that to his advantage so that he can talk with these people. And Handout especially is important because he wants to be able to talk to the guides, and sometimes he will talk to the people that the guides are traveling with. And he has learned the, I guess, the political nature of things, that they are the tribe is a limited number of people, and that they have to learn to live in this new society, or perhaps not live in the new society, but they have to have some contact with this new society if they are to move forward and to thrive. At only 24 members, even with a boon in their births in the past year, there isn't a whole lot of future for the Neanderthals. It is very clear that they are on their way out, as a genetic line, and that they will probably at some point in the future, on a geological scale, a very near future, they will go extinct, unfortunately. Now, the clan of the Owlbear is not the only clan of Neanderthals, but they are the only clan that is known to be active in the Skelos Mountains. There are reports of other tribes of Neanderthals that live in Stagina, usually in ice caves and things of that nature, not to any great extent. And in fact, a lot of those reports could be, just tales told around the campfire of some scary encounter. Now, the one thing, the one thing that the dwarves of Zolotoheim really like about the clan of the Owlbear is that Neanderthals absolutely hate ogres, goblins, and kobolds, and because of, I mean, they will go ape. Maybe that, no pun intended, I guess. They will go ape the first chance that they get if they see an ogre, kobold, or goblin. And so they have kept the region along, or at least this section along the the Eastern Tradeway between the Abbey of the Order of the Martyr and the village of Gnomeveholm. They have kept that region fairly barren of goblins, kobolds, and ogres. They cannot stand for any of those to live, and they will kill them on sight if they can at all help it. Nobody knows where this racial animosity comes from. I mean, with ogres, they're just kind of jerks anyways, so I mean that's pretty obvious. And goblins and kobolds, while all they can be deadly, especially in large quantities, mostly they're just annoying to most people. Nobody knows where this animosity comes from, but the Neanderthal, there is some historical, something happened, and they are just greatly hated. Nobody knows what the reason for that is, and the Neanderthals may not know either. I mean, the Neanderthals don't even know much about their past. When they've been asked, when did you come to the Skelos Mountains, their response is that the clan has always been here. But then if you go through their cave and look at their cave paintings, there is clear indication that the clan migrated here from somewhere else. Looking at the cave paintings, it shows them as having traveled a very long distance. When you're on foot, anything can be considered a long distance, especially when you're traveling through mountainous terrain and snow and ice. So perhaps they did travel a long ways, or perhaps they just travel from the base of the mountains up into the mountains. Nobody knows. But it is clear from their paintings that they have not always been here. The clan doesn't know. They their oral histories, for one reason or another, state that they've always been here. So it could be that the shamans changed the oral histories to cover something up in the past that happened, and perhaps that something is why there's a racial animosity against ogres, goblins, and kobolds. It's probably at this point beyond ever being able to find out, though. So that is the clan of the Owlbear. We will be looking at the village of Gnome and its interesting contraption, the large telescope that has been built in the village. Next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.